Okay, wait. All right. Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a few minutes. We're still letting people log into the call, and we're still having a couple people join us in the rate room, but we'll go ahead and get started in 3 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Julio. This is Javier. And we'll get started in just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. All righty, let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Julia Monge, and I'm the training coordinator here at the DiverseIT Training and Repair Center.
Hi, my name is Javier Solis. I am the DiverseIT Tech Support.
And we're here to present to you our second class of our series of Web Literacy Month. And so today we're going to be talking about making social media work for you. And we're going to talk about a little bit about different types of social media platforms, the different things that you can do on social media, how to stay safe, and ultimately how to use it to build community and find the things that you want in the community. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Just so you know, we will be answering questions at the end. So if you have any questions throughout the meeting, just go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll go ahead and answer them all at the end, okay?
And we just want to make a quick thank you to our sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do these classes online. So with their help, Comcast, we'll be able to do more classes in the future.
All right. So go ahead. All right, everyone, just a second while we go ahead and share our screen and we will get started. Okay. And again, if you have any issues during the presentation, please just let me know. If you have trouble hearing, again, if you have any questions, let us know. Javier, just keep an eye on the participants, making sure you're admitting everybody.
Okay.
All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share with you a little bit of information about what DiverseIT does. So DiverseIT is part of Adelante, which is a big nonprofit here in Albuquerque. And what we're doing is we're trying to bridge the technology divide by making technology more accessible to everybody in that community. And that looks a couple of different ways. So first of all, we offer free refurbished computers to people in the community who can't afford one or who have documented disabilities. We offer these free public training digital literacy classes covering a wide range of topics. If there's a topic that you want to see us cover, go ahead and put it in the chat or send us an email, give us a call, and we'll make sure that we add a training with that as well. We also offer a couple of other different services, but those are the main ones. So please, if you ever want to support us, if you want to know a little bit more about DiverseIT and what we're doing, go ahead and give us a call and we can tell you more about it. But with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so Hannah's going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be discussing today.
Okay, so today our mission is going to be more, what we're going to be learning about is mostly how to learn more about social media and how we could use the different types and make sure that we are all aware of the types of social medias that there are out there, and also to be safe while using them and make sure we know how to keep ourselves safe from using them, and also becoming a digital citizen and not a digital victim. And I will pass it back on to Julia.
Before we get started, I wanted to cover a couple of keywords that we're going to be talking a lot about today, and just so that you have some familiarity with them. But again, if we mention something that you're not entirely sure of, or if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the chat. But the first one's going to be a social media platform. So since we are talking about social media, it's important to know what social media platforms even are. And really what it is, it can range anywhere from an app to a website, but the whole purpose of that app is to have a social component so that you can interact with others, you can share content, you can build community, and a variety of other things. But when we're referring to social media platform, we're usually referring to websites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Meetup, Zoom. All of those kinds of things are considered social media platforms. The next word that we're going to be covering a lot is timeline. So typically on content-based platform, social media platforms, so any social media platform that you can share pictures, videos, music, your blog, that's all going to be content, and that's going to be itemized on one type of page that you can view called the timeline. So whenever you log on to Facebook and you're scrolling, that thing that you're scrolling through is actually the timeline. And that's usually pretty consistent across all and most social media platforms, but that is something that we're going to be talking a lot about today. And then another word is going to be trending. So trending really just means that some piece of content, whether it be a video or a song or a post on a social media platform, is getting a lot of engagement from its users. So a lot of people are clicking on it. A lot of people are leaving comments, they're interacting with it, they're sharing it. And that's typically when we say something is trending or something is viral, that's usually what it means. Another one is going to be account settings. So like anything, social media is only as safe as you allow it to be. So social media can be really great when building community and when trying to find ways to get, there's a bug in here. Trying to find ways to get involved in your community, but you need to make sure that you do so safely. And we'll be covering that as well. But in order to do that, you're going to have to actually go into the account settings and set limitations on what the app can see, what information you can share, and what people can see your account. So we'll be covering that as well. And then another one is compromised account. So a compromised account is exactly what it sounds like. It's when your social media platform, your account on that platform has been compromised. So that means maybe your password got leaked or you got hacked, and you're seeing some suspicious activity. But we're going to go ahead and talk about different things that you can do to avoid that, and then also what to do should that ever happen. And with that, we're going to go ahead and just jump right into the presentation. Okay. So social media is probably one of the biggest things that we see in our lives every single day. More than 3.48 billion people worldwide actually have social media accounts, as according to a study done in 2019 by We Are Social. And so really, if you think about it, that's almost half of the population on this planet. And that's just, not including, babies that still can't have social media, or really, really like people that just refuse to even go near technology. And so it is something that is slowly becoming integrated into our everyday lives. And it's important that even if we choose not to participate, that we at least have a general understanding of it, so that we can not only partake in conversations that are maybe happening online, but also make sure that we're staying safe, make sure that our loved ones and our friends are staying safe on social media if they choose to do so, and that we are, becoming digital citizens and not digital victims. And so with that, I actually kind of wanted to open up the floor. You can unmute yourself and ask me, or you can go ahead and type in the chat, but how many of you actually have social media or use it every day, or even, use social media at all? I mean, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll open that up. Let's see. Well, I'd like Javier up here as well. Javier, do you use social media?
Yes, I do. I do use social media. Predominantly, I use Facebook, mostly just because I'm always in the market looking for a new vehicle. That's just one of my things right now.
Okay. Someone said that they don't use social media. All right, Juliana, are you interested in using social media? What are your reasons for choosing not to participate on social media? Yeah, you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you just want to, if you want to tell us, or you can type it in the chat, whatever works best for you. Okay, so while Juliana's getting set up, yeah, social media is something very popular. Okay, let's see. Juliana said the reason she doesn't use social media is security and privacy. So that's a really big one. And I think that oftentimes we get this idea that it's really hard to use social media without being secure and maintaining your information private. And to a certain degree, that is a little bit true. Anything you post on the internet is there forever, even if you delete it. So it is important that we become, cognizant of what we're choosing to share with people. But ultimately, there are a lot of ways that you can still choose to partake in social media and just do it in a safe way. So for example, maybe like a year and a half ago, I chose to get completely off social media for that very same reason. I didn't feel like my information was safe. I didn't really necessarily find the point of it, but I also felt that I was missing out on a lot of community events that I would have normally found through social media. And so I kind of had to find a way to approach using it in a way that was safe and maintained my information private, and that kept me from, being hacked. And so does anybody else use social media or not use it, or have reasons for not using it? No? Okay. All right, that's okay. So we'll go ahead and just move on. So there's a lot of different reasons for why you might want to use social media. That typically can range anywhere from, I want to stay connected with friends and family, to I want to learn about what's going on in the community, or sometimes you just want to watch a really funny cat video. It really doesn't matter what your reason behind wanting to join social media is, but how you do so and whether you do so safely does. And so that's really one of the things that we want to delve into today. But before that, we're going to talk about a couple of the other reasons why using social media might be beneficial to you. All right. So there's a lot of reasons why you could and you should join social media. Obviously, it's going to come down to a personal choice. But some of the reasons why we think that joining social media might be beneficial to you is because of all of the different things and opportunities that it offers. So for example, sharing would be the first one. Whenever you're on social media, you can share any content that you produce. So let's say that you're really passionate about writing. You can start a blog and you can share that with the people that, maybe are interested in that as well. Or if you really like cooking and you want to share your recipes with the world, you could start making YouTube videos and teach people how to cook. I know, for example, cooking channels on YouTube have been super helpful for me when I want to try new recipes or when I want to learn how to make something really quickly, but still have it be really yummy. So there's a lot of reasons why you can join social media, but one of the main reasons why people navigate to these platforms is because they want to share things about their life. They want to share content, whether that be their blogs, whether that be recipes. Sometimes people do classes online. One of the things that we're doing here is we're talking about how to use social media. So any reason that you might have, anything that you think, any skill that you have that you might think would be beneficial to others, it might be worth considering posting something about it online. Maybe you could start a blog, you could tweet about it, you could post pictures about it on Instagram, you can make videos. It really, your options are limitless, but that is one of the reasons why a lot of people join social media. Another one is learning. Oftentimes, we just don't know how to do certain things, and rather than asking somebody, we just refer to our favorite little buddy, which is our phone. It's very easy to Google, how to change the oil of my car. And I'm sure that if you do that, you're going to be bombarded with a variety of different blogs on how to do it, a bunch of YouTube videos on how to do it, step-by-step pages like WikiHow. So really, if you ever want to learn something, regardless of whether it's, how to change the oil of my car, or you want to take a cybersecurity class on pages like Coursera, there are a lot of options for you. And social media does create, those platforms where you could go and learn how to do different things. Another one is going to be interacting. So like I said, a big part of why people choose to join social media is because they want to stay connected with the people around them, whether that be family members, that live across the country, or let alone across the world. They want to stay connected with friends, or they want to just kind of stay connected with what's going on in their community. Social media allows you to be able to interact with those people regardless of distance. And it allows you to create those connections that you maybe wouldn't have otherwise. I know, for example, families are really big in sharing pictures about, they're sharing pictures about like different family events, or here in the community, a lot of people, if there's, a big farmers market concert going on a weekend, they'll usually post about it on Facebook. So there's just a lot of different ways that you can interact with others online. And the final reason why people typically tend to join social media is because of marketing. If you have a small business, or a big business, or you have a service that you want to provide to others, social media is a really great and generally free way to do so. You can typically post, you can make a Facebook page about your small business. You can make an Instagram page and show pictures of the products you create. If you want to teach classes online, you can post them on YouTube. And offer those services to others, and they can go ahead and reach out to you after that. So the way that you can market your small businesses and your ideas and all of the different services that you could offer, if that's something that you're interested in doing, social media makes it easy and to do so. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Javier is going to talk to you a little bit about what is a social media platform, what you can kind of expect to see on social media platforms, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into a couple of live social media platform demos.
Okay, so what is social media platform? So a social media platform where a lot of people can communicate together, get together, or share brilliant ideas together, or even share just say a photo of your dog, or a photo of how you're making your food, or stuff like that. And a couple of the main ones that we have up here is Facebook, which a lot of people use to just get in touch with their loved ones, or even just find out what's going on with the world. And then also YouTube would be another one. YouTube is mostly where you could just find videos on, say, like, again, referencing back to Julia, how she said, while you're searching up on how to do an oil change, you could actually look at a video on how they do it, if it's correct for your car, checking out what type of different little things that your vehicle might need. And Meetup is mostly for people who want to learn more things about, say, a language, how to cook a certain meal, how to cook, like, say, from a different country, say from South Korea, or even just get together and have like a book meeting. And why is it really great to have a social media, or what is the benefit of actually having social media, is that not only that, you could communicate with your loved ones, or communicate with your relatives or friends that you may have not haven't gotten in touch in the past, but just in general, you could learn more about what is it that you're really interested in. And just a couple other things that we're going to be talking more about is how we could be more secure while using Facebook, and how we could become again, referencing back to the beginning, digitized citizens, not digitized victims. And I'm gonna pass it back to Julia.
All righty, everyone. We're going to go ahead and go into the live demo now, and we're going to actually cover how to, go navigate Facebook and how to navigate everything on Facebook, including the account settings as well. So if you could just give me a moment while we get all of that set up. If you want to follow along on your computer, you can go ahead and go to www.facebook.com and just make sure you're logged into your account, and we can go from there. So I'm going to stop sharing this page. And I'm going to go ahead and share. Oh, excuse me. All right, and just let me check. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Right now, we're going to be going through Facebook, and for the purpose of this presentation, we're actually going through a demo account that Javier and I made. And so, generally, when you log onto Facebook, if you guys are having any questions or can't see something, just go ahead and type it in the chat, and we'll go ahead and get that sorted out. But anyway, Javier and I went ahead and made a demo account on Facebook, and we're actually going to be navigating through all of it, and showing you how you can actually find your page, how you can find different groups on Facebook, and how to make the most of the account. So as you can see right now, we're on our personal page. So if you were to make an account, in this case, ours is going to be called John Demo, you can actually see your main page. And this is where you can talk, this is where you're going to see all of the different things that you post and the things that you choose to share. Generally, this is when I said timeline earlier, this is what I'm referring to. So this right here that I'm hovering my mouse over is going to be your timeline. And if you were to scroll down, you would actually, and if this Facebook account was actually active, this is where you would see all the content that we had ever posted or shared or even commented on. And then here, we're actually going to go into the about. So this is where you could share information about yourself. But this is also where, the security aspect comes in. So being part of social media is great, but we need to do so in a way that's safe for us. Social media is only as safe as we allow it to be. And so the best practice, if you're going to actually use social media, is to not share any of your personal information. So, choosing your workplace, what schools you went to, your current city, your hometown, think about it. A lot of these questions are actually, security questions when you need to reset your password on other accounts. So if you were to actually put in that information and somebody is trying to hack you, they could just go to your Facebook page and find all of that information readily available. They could find pictures of, your first pet or your first car. What's your hometown? Where were you born? What's the name of your high school? They could look up your high school mascot. So it's really important to make sure that if you are going to be on social media, not to share any of that personal information. And moving on from there, friends. So typically platforms like Facebook allow you to befriend somebody online. It's really important that when you're doing so, you're actually only friending people that you know. So for example, I'm going to show you, if let's say I was trying to look for somebody, we'll look for, our friend John Doe. When you search in the search bar, you're actually going to get a result of people. As you can see, there's a couple of people up here. If this first one were the John Doe that I was looking for, then I could go ahead and click on this little icon and that says add friend and send them a friend request. Oftentimes on Facebook, a lot of people that you may not even know will send you friend requests. And it's important to make sure that you're only accepting those requests from people that from people that exist, from people that you've met, whether that be in person or even like on Zoom. But just make sure that you're never actually allowing anybody into your circle that you don't already know, especially on social media, because like I said, it's really easy to access your personal information. And so don't share your personal information and don't let people that you don't know in through the door in the first place. And now we're going to go ahead and go on to our main timeline on Facebook. So generally, if you, for example, were to follow pages like DiverseIT, shameless plug, if you were to follow and like pages like DiverseIT, this is your general timeline. So this is where every page account that you follow. So if you have friends that are posting pictures, if you're following local businesses and they're posting stuff, this is where you'll see it. So again, this is the timeline. Typically you'll see things like this as well, which is a recommended post. And really what that just means is based off of your location, Facebook is going to recommend things that it might think you might be interested in. And so since we are in New Mexico, one of the recommended posts is going to be for New Mexico True, and so on and so forth. So moving from there, you can actually also access a couple of other things on Facebook, like events. So let's say, for example, you want to find something to do on the weekend. So then you can go to your main Facebook page by clicking on the Facebook logo on the top left corner, and then you can click on events. And then from there, you can actually discover all of the different events going on in your surrounding areas. But let's say we actually want to, categorize it by, I only want to see art events. So then I can go ahead and click on art in the category section, and it'll pull up all of the different art related events that are going on near me or that are going on online that I can tune into that have been shared on Facebook. So, you could just scroll through that. And again, this is a really good way to, like I said, learn about different things. So let's say you want to look for a cooking class online, but you don't actually want to go in person, then you can look for cooking classes on Facebook and find them as well. Another really big thing on Facebook is groups. So we're going to, again, from your main Facebook page, you're going to go ahead and click on groups. And this is a really good way to build community. So let's say that you are interested in learning about Albuquerque used cars and trucks, or you want to talk about the rodeo in New Mexico. Well, there's already groups for that. And all you would have to do is actually just join the group on Facebook. And then from there, you can actually find out about different events related to that topic. And so, for example, let's say that you're really passionate about kayaking. Well, you can actually, type in kayaking right here in search groups, type in. All right, can you hear me now? Perfect. Sorry, we have our little microphone up here and I accidentally hit the mute button. Okay. So now that we've gone through our account settings, and then we went to settings and privacy, and we clicked privacy checkup, Facebook actually has this really nice thing that you can go module by module on how to actually adjust your settings. So let's go ahead and just go into this first one, which is who can see what you share. So typically, the nice thing about Facebook is it'll actually give you, a quick little demo on how to do things as well. And so let's see, we're going to walk through the different options to make sure your settings are right for you. You can just click continue. And right now it'll give you your personal information. So for example, we have our email that we use to create this account. And let's say that, we don't want people on Facebook to see the email that we created the account with. Well, then in that case, one of the things that you can do is actually go ahead and click on the little security setting right next to it right here. And it'll give you an option to see who can actually see that that specific piece of information. So let's say I only want friends to see that on my email, and I can click on friends. But you know what, let's say actually I changed my mind. I don't want anybody to be able to see my email. I just want, Facebook will have that information. I'll have that information, but that's it. Then I can go ahead and just click on that button again, and I can click only me. And now only I can actually see that information. And then in order to set up a Facebook account, obviously you're going to need your birthday. Again, Facebook is a really big one that'll share your birthday with everybody, and it'll kind of even send them a notification on your birthday to remind them to tell you happy birthday. But that's kind of personal information. And if you don't want that shared, then one of the things that you can do while on Facebook is actually limit who can see that. So again, let's say we don't want anybody to know, the year or the day that we were born. We're going to go ahead and click on that. We're going to click only me. And let's say we actually don't want people to know the year we were born either. So we're going to go ahead and click on this, click on only me again. And from there, we've actually already limited to who can see our email and who can see our birthday. But then just moving forward, you can even also limit who can see your friends list. So for example, let's say that I want to maintain my group of friends, private, or, that I only have family members on Facebook, but I don't actually want people to be able to see who my family members are or even access their accounts on Facebook. Then I can actually even close off my friends list. So that means that when somebody were to visit my page, they won't be able to see who I'm friends with by, again, just clicking on the privacy setting and then going back to only me. And the nice thing about Facebook is as you progress through every single one of these categories is they'll actually give you the option to go in and secure every single part of your account. And they'll do so step by step rather than having to, just give you instructions and go to another page and try to figure out the settings from there. They'll give you the option to change those settings in every single one. And so after you finish this module and check all of your privacy and make sure that, your account is private and safe and that you can limit who's actually seeing your stuff, then you can move on to the next one. So, how to keep your account secure. And so it'll tell you a little bit of like, your password is okay, your password is strong. You can turn on two-factor authentication. And so for those of you that don't know, two-factor authentication is actually a tool that you can use to keep any type of account safe as long as they provide it. And so really what that means is that when you're trying to log on to any type of account, you're going to need two factors of authorization. The first one is typically going to be your password. So, let's say I want to log on to my Facebook page and my password is cheese. Then I'm going to go ahead and type in cheese. But then it's also going to send me an email with the email that I have registered with that account. And it's going to ask me, hey, are you trying to log in on this computer at this moment? And then I actually have to go into my email and say, yes, I am trying to log in. And that way it ensures that nobody that, may have gotten your password in a malicious way or that have like hacked into your account can actually access it because they don't have that other factor of authorization. And so we highly here at DiverseIT, we highly recommend that you turn on two-factor authorization on any kind of account that'll let it, whether that be your email, whether that be your phone, your Facebook page, anything, because it really does keep your account super safe. And it is a really good way at keeping your information private and making sure that nobody's logging in when they're not supposed to be. And so whenever you have the time, I highly recommend that you go ahead and actually go through every single one of these because you're going to find a lot of information, not only about how to stay safe and how to actually secure your account, but it'll actually give you a little bit of information about, your data settings on Facebook. So Facebook, like most social media platforms, is free, but free is never really free. Free just means that your information and the stuff that you're posting online is being sold to companies for marketing purposes. And so what that means is you can actually limit what kind of what personal information is being shared with those marketers. And this is another thing that Facebook actually will talk to you a little bit more about if you were to click on these like different modules, and you can actually change the settings of what part of my information or what part of my account is being shared and limit that so that no part of your information is being shared. And so with that, does anybody have any questions about Facebook, or is there anything on Facebook that you want me to show you how to do? And again, you can just unmute yourself, or you can go ahead and post it in the chat, whatever works best for you. Javier, do you have any tips for staying safe on Facebook?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. So one of the questions that somebody asked was, why does Facebook have so much disinformation? And generally that's because, like any social media platform, anybody can post whatever they want. And so oftentimes social media companies are starting to kind of face the reality that maybe they need to start limiting the kind of content that could be posted. But generally it's still pretty much a free-for-all. So that's why it's really important for you to be able to distinguish the what is real from what's not real on social media. And actually, the next workshop that we're going to be teaching, September 22nd, Wednesday, at 7 p.m. is actually going to be all about that. We're going to be talking all about how you can find something online and figure out whether it's real or not real, how to fact check things that you're finding online, how to do research online, and how to just make sure that the information that you're consuming is accurate and that the information that you're sharing is also accurate. And so that's a really great question. Thank you for asking that. Does anybody else have any other questions or things that you want me to demo while we're still on Facebook? Okay, give it just one more moment. Another really important thing to keep in mind, because a lot of people that do use Facebook are typically doing it, like I said, to stay connected with family and friends, is that if you're ever going to share a picture of whether, that be like your grandkids or your cousin, make sure you ask for their permission first, because a lot of people don't want their pictures online, and that's something that we need to respect. And so before you share any type of picture or any content, if it involves anybody else, make sure you get their explicit permission beforehand. So that way that you're not only maintaining yourself, keeping your private information safe, but you're also maintaining their information safe as well. Okay. I don't see any questions at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and actually move on to the next part, which is going to be YouTube. And Javier is going to be doing this demo for you. So if you want to follow along on your page, then you can go ahead and visit www.youtube.com. And that's spelled YOUTUBE. Okay, so you can see we're on Facebook, and Javier is going to go ahead and go through that with you.
Okay, so now on to YouTube. So here are a couple of things that you might be interested to learn about a little bit more about YouTube if you may have not know. YouTube can also provide, say, if you don't have cable or DirecTV or Dish or any of those big cable companies, and you want to learn more about the news, YouTube does have a section where you could actually go into the news right here on your left bottom slide. It says news. You could click on it and it'll come up with different types of news. Like example, top stories, what is live now. Say like if you really want to learn more about, like say, what's going on with the world, it's like NBC, Boomerang, ABC, and more like that. You could actually look and see what's going on. And then also like big events that are going to happen. You could also, sometimes they do put music, concerts up there. And it's a bit of a cool little thing that YouTube's been doing, just highlighting everything. It's like the best of YouTube, music, sports, gaming, movies, and shows. Sometimes they do actually say, if you really want to watch a movie there and you don't have, say, a Netflix subscription or anything of that sorts, they also do offer some movies that are free, but that also includes that they come with ads. It is actually worth going onto YouTube and streaming movies, just because, like say, again, re-emphasizing, if you don't have Netflix subscription or a subscription of any source where you can watch movies, that also helps you out and say, take your mind off of things. And like, again, how Julia said in the beginning of the presentations, like YouTube, we could also search up, say if you want to search up how to do oil change, also say cat videos and whatnot. Another thing we could do is search up DiverseIT. And it comes up with different little things that we here at DiverseIT do. Say, right here, this little DSA and DiverseIT and DSA videos, and we click on it. It's a little playlist of showing what we also are be able to do, what other things we offer. And a couple of things, as you can see here within this little playlist, is how to do Zoom meetings. Let me do this really quick. Zoom meetings, avoiding emails and text scams, signing into your Google account and setting up Google meetings, setting up your computer, etc. And A couple other things that I want to also point out with YouTube is that not only this platform has been used for videos or just like say funny videos, cooking videos, and other big companies use them for also like say promoting things like say if you want to promote again going back to Facebook, we could also make sure we say like we have a cooking theme that we want to do, or say a dish. We could also post it on YouTube, not only just share it on Facebook, but also post it on YouTube and make sure that a lot of people out there would get to know your dish, would get to know how to actually do it step by step. And
I can add a couple more things.
And Julia will be adding a couple more things.
All right, thank you, Javier. So as I said, YouTube offers a lot of really great things. And it's a really great platform specifically because you don't actually even have to have an account to use it. And so generally speaking, when we're on Facebook or, other things like that, you actually have to be logged in and you have to be kind of giving that information to actually use it. But when you're on YouTube, you don't have to be signed in. If you have a Gmail account, you technically already do have a YouTube account. So that's something to be aware of. If you kind of, constantly are looking for videos on how to make really good fried rice, for example, and you start seeing that every time you log into YouTube, you're getting more recipes on how to cook fried rice or how to cook, Asian cuisine, then that's probably because you're already logged into your Gmail account through YouTube. And it's a really great way to make, lists. If you, for example, are trying to get healthy and fit and you want to look up workout videos, you can look up workout videos on YouTube and put them all in one list as well. Or you can look for videos of songs that you really like and make a playlist, and you can share that playlist with others. And so YouTube is a really great platform for, watching videos, streaming music, streaming movies, watching live events if you don't have cable. So like Javier said, if you go to the bottom left, there's going to be an option for you to just look at what's going on live right now. And so, for example, if let's say that you were interested in watching one of like the rocket launches that were recently launched by SpaceX, we're actually posting them live. Or let's say you want to watch the news live, then you can go ahead and just click on the live setting on the left side and go on to ABC News Live. And so YouTube is a really good option. And let's say that, for example, you are interested in sharing something on YouTube. You're interested in showing videos about, how to dance or how to cook. Maybe you have a really good fried rice recipe that you want to share with people. You can go ahead and just, record yourself with your phone or with the camera, and you can upload those as well. But again, just make sure that you're not sharing any personal information and that you're staying safe, and that the only things that you're posting are things that are approved. So if you're including other people, make sure that they're okay with it and they've consented to be online. And then if you do choose to make an account, to make sure that you're going through those account settings. So again, if you are on YouTube, you can just go ahead and click on settings, and that'll take you to your privacy account, your privacy settings as well. And let's see, I see we have something in the chat. Oh, nice to see all of those videos about DiverseIT. Thank you. Yeah, we do have a lot of videos that we here at DiverseIT created in partnership with the Department of Senior Affairs. So if you wanted to see some of those videos and, learn a little bit more about those different topics, that you can go ahead and do that from there. And we've covered everything from, how to connect to Wi-Fi to how to find online dating platforms and how to date online safely. We really do cover it all. So just make sure that you go through our page, find a video that works for you, and start learning. And so with that, we're actually going to go ahead and move on to our final social media platform, which is called Meetup. So give me a moment. While I pull up that page and double check. Okay. All right. Before we get started on Meetup, does anybody have any questions about YouTube? Anything you wanted me to demo? And you can unmute yourself and say it, or you can go ahead and post it in the chat. No? Okay, that's all right. We can go ahead and move on. So our final platform is going to be called Meetup. And the reason I really wanted to talk to you about Meetup is because, again, it's a really great platform for you if you're trying to find, a group, if you're trying to build and find community. And so Meetup is going to be a platform where a lot of different people that are interested in similar things could post different events. They could post, discussion forums, and they can actually organize different ways that they could meet up with other people interested in that same topic and talk about it. And so it's really good if you're, for example, let's say you're really passionate about wanting to learn French. Well, there's actually maybe like 3 French-speaking practice groups here in Albuquerque, and they meet throughout the week. Or let's say that you really learn how to dance. There's also a lot of dance groups on Meetup. Or let's say that you want to learn a little bit more about digital literacy and, tech nonprofits in the Albuquerque community trying to do their best to bridge the technology divide. Then you can even find us, DiverseIT, on Meetup. And so one of the things that you can do is once you log on to Meetup, so meetup.com, is you can actually search for keywords. So let's go ahead and just type in DiverseIT. So I want to see if my local nonprofit has any events coming up. And then right now it's set up so that it's only in Albuquerque. It's only going to pull up Albuquerque events going on in Albuquerque, New Mexico related to that keyword that you had searched. And we're going to go ahead and click search. And look at that. One of the things the first things that's going to come up is some of the events that we have posted. So for example, right now we are currently in this online event, so making social media work for you. But let's say you want to learn about other events that we have coming up, then you can also check our Meetup page. And we're also going to have, our September 22nd workshop, figuring it out, fact versus fiction. But let's also say maybe you want to learn a little bit about kayaking. So we could type in kayaking, and we only want it to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We'll go ahead and click search, and we can see all of the different kayaking and stand-up paddleboarding events coming up in the following days in this area. But let's say I don't want to look at events. I actually just want to maybe join a group because I have a busy schedule next month, so I don't know when I'm going to be free, but I want to meet some people that are interested in the same things as I am. Well, after you've searched kayaking and, limited to Albuquerque, New Mexico, you can actually switch the toggle. So instead of events, you can switch it over to groups. And you'll see that it only pulls up the different groups that are already set up on Meetup that fit that keyword. And so you're going to find, a paddleboarding group or a minorities and outdoors. And usually when you want to join a club, all you have to do is click on it. And then you can go ahead and click request to join. Or let's say you want to learn a little bit more about this club before you actually join it. So we clicked on it. We're going to go ahead and scroll down, and we can learn a little bit more about the kinds of different things that they offer and the different types of things that they expect of their members. And so, sometimes there's going to be events on Meetup that will request membership fees. Generally, those are pretty obvious, but most events on Meetup and most groups on Meetup are free. So it is a really nice platform. And then you could even see some of the people that are, part of the organizers. You can see who is actually managing the event, what their qualifications are for managing that event. And you can even scroll down and see what kind of upcoming events that they have going on. And you could even attend to those events and RSVP from this website directly. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and open it up again to the chat. Does anybody have any questions about Meetup or, any types of demo that you want me to do on Meetup before we move on to the next part? And again, you can unmute yourself or type it in the chat, whatever works best for you. Does Meetup cost money? That's a great question. So Meetup as a platform is free. Again, remember what I said earlier, our golden rule, free is never really free. So just keep in mind that whatever information that you're choosing to share with Meetup can and probably is being sold to marketing companies, but generally you can limit that amount of information, and you can even make that information kind of phony. So let's say you want to join Meetup, but you don't want to actually post your real name. You can come up with a pseudonym, and you can come up with, like a junk mail email that you can use in order to use Meetup. But Meetup as a platform is free. Like I said, there are some groups that you can pay for. So for example, if you wanted to join, if you wanted to join like a square dancing group, but they might have monthly membership fees, and that's something to keep in mind, but you don't have to join them. And then if you actually want to start your own meetup group, so let's say that you're really passionate about, wanting to learn how to speak Italian, and you want to find people that are also wanting to learn how to speak Italian, then you can go ahead and make a meetup group and start posting events. And in that case, you will have to pay for a fee. But it really just depends on how you want to use the platform. If you want to use it just as a general user, you want to see what's going on in the community, you want to learn a little bit more about different events, then you can do that as well. Okay, we have one more question. How do you categorize music or videos on YouTube? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump right back to YouTube, and I can show you how to do that. So generally, when you're on YouTube, if you are, we're going to go to the main page. When you're on YouTube, sorry, I wanted to play our last DiverseIT video. Okay. So when you're on YouTube, if you are signed in, that's usually when you can go ahead and make different categories or make different accounts. Right now we're not signed in, but I could still kind of go through it. So let's say, I see the Taylor Swift wildest dreams, and I want to make a playlist. So a category of just music that I want to always listen to. What you're going to do is when you click on the video, it's going to give you 3 different options or 3 little dots. And generally in this pop-up menu, you'll see an add to playlist, feature. Right now it's not showing up because we're not signed in, but if you were signed in, it'll give you an option to add to playlist, and you can just click on add to playlist. And then you can it'll give you the opportunity to type in the name of the playlist that you want to create. And so moving forward, if you find any other videos that you want to add to that same playlist, again, you just have to click the 3 dots on the video. Or if you've already clicked, let's see, if we've already are in video, do it from this setting. If you're already in the video and you want to add it from there, then you just have to click save. And then from there, it'll give you the option to add it to that playlist as well. But right now, again, we're not signed in, so it's not giving us that option. So just keep in mind, if you're not signed in on YouTube, it does kind of limit how much you can use and what you can do with it. You can still access all of the videos. You can still watch all of them. You're just not going to be able to make playlists or save it or favorite it or comment. But if that's something that you really want to do, then you can go ahead and log in just by clicking the sign in button right in the top right corner. Okay, does anybody have any other questions about any of those 3 platforms or want us to demo anything on Facebook, YouTube, or Meetup before we move on? No. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to the next part, which is going to be talking about using social media safely. There we go. And Javier's going to go ahead and join me for this section, actually. So come on over, Javier. So when using social media, it's really important, like I said, to do so safely. And it is possible. It is a little bit trickier. It does require more work on your part because you have to go in and change the settings. You have to be aware of every time there's a user agreement to make sure that that user agreement doesn't mean that they're going to activate everything. So just keep in mind that it is a little bit more work on your part, but it is possible to use social media safely. But that's going to require a couple of different things. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off to Javier, and he's going to tell you our first safe social media tip, which is?
So the first tip would be make sure you don't add when you're getting friend requests on Facebook specifically, make sure you know the person and make sure it's not someone you don't know. And that way you can prevent from saying anybody getting any personal information if you haven't set your privacy settings yet. So basically don't accept friend requests from strangers or people you don't know, or don't send Facebook requests to people that you don't know in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good rule of thumb. If we want to talk to random strangers on the street, don't talk to them online. You don't know who's hiding behind the computer. And this isn't in any way, trying to scare you, but just be safe. The best thing that you can do is not interact with people online that you don't generally know, or that whose account you can't completely verify. And so don't talk to people you don't know. The next one is going to be to watch out for suspicious behavior. And this one I'm specifically referring to anytime you receive messages or emails that kind of look a little suspicious or that you didn't specifically request. Generally, that's a good tip that maybe one of the people that you're connected with on social media was hacked, or maybe that you were hacked and you're starting to get a bunch of different kind of messages. So for example, if you were on Facebook, let's say, and you get a message from someone that you generally don't talk to, and they say, hey, check out this video, and it's just a random link, that's generally a pretty good indicator that, you know, their account was compromised, and that the hacker is sending videos that they want you to click on that are going to, you know, maybe download malicious software onto your computer or do something funky with your own personal Facebook account. So if you ever receive messages that are completely unprompted or that you kind of seem suspicious, it's best to reach out to that person through a different medium. So for example, let's say your cousin, you get a message from your cousin on Facebook that says, you know, check out this video, and it's just a random link, but it doesn't really seem like something that they would do, or it seems a little bit suspicious. You know, pick up your phone, give your cousin a call, or send them a text message, you know, try to reach out to them on any other type of platform. So whether that be message, email, or you're just giving them a call directly, or if you can talk to them in person, ask them in person, hey, did you send me this chat? And then if they did, then you know it's safe to go ahead and click on it. But if they didn't, then you can let them know that their account's been compromised and that they need to go in and change their password and set up their two-factor authorization. The next one is going to be not to share any personal information. So Javier, what is personal information and why should we not share it?
So basically, personal information would become anything from your birthday, where you live, what's your phone number, or even including sometimes your social security number. Reason why I say social security number is that there's sometimes when you get either text messages or even Facebook messaging requests, they'll say, hey, you won so-and-so like $100 of gift card for Applebee's or something. Now claim it. All we need is certain details. Click on this link. Stuff like that. That's kind of big red flag, because usually free, again, going back to the free is never free type of thing. They use your information to make sure who you are and to verify any little thing that they could possibly take and sell it to anybody else. Not to get you a little bit, just to be aware, not to get you scared about it, but it does tend to happen. An example for me recently was that one of my friends I actually had on Facebook send me, it's like, hey, there's this grant going on. You could get $8,000. All you need to do is contact so-and-so and give him your information. And that kind of gave me a little bit of a red flag. I ended up texting him and telling him, hey, is this you? I just want to be safe and sure. He's like, no, it's not me. I haven't used that Facebook account for a while. So kind of like don't let like the little messages saying, because sometimes they do come from, like, again, go back on how Julia said, was that it could also come from your cousin's profile, comes from any relative. So just double check and make sure that you're contacting them and say, hey, is this actually you? And that way you can keep your personal information safe and secure. And again, going back to your privacy settings, make sure your privacy settings are up to date and make sure that you didn't accidentally turn one of them off.
Okay. So thank you, Javier, for touching on that. Adjusting privacy settings is super important. Every time that there is a different update, typically those settings can be turned off by the company. So it's important to double check that every single time that there's an update, your account settings are exactly the way that you have preset them. So just make sure that you stay on top of that. Don't leave your account logged in. If you're, for example, using the computers at the public library and you want to check your Facebook account, go ahead and do it. But make sure that you're always logging out before you leave your computer, whether that be from Facebook, from Meetup, from YouTube, from your email. Just don't leave any account open and vulnerable to the next person that were to log onto the computer. And lastly, we're going to talk about, what do you do if your account's been compromised? If you think that your account's already been hacked, then the best thing that you can do is log into that account, change your password, and make sure that you set up two-factor authorization so that it doesn't happen again. So like I said, set up two-factor authorization and have it, have a notification sent to your phone and to your email so that whenever you're trying to log in, you have to, accept that prompt from another source. So that way only you and you only can actually log on. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the final part of our presentation, which is just, letting you know a little bit about the different things going on here at DiverseIT. If you liked this class and want to see more classes like it, the best thing that you can do is review us, rate us on Google and Yelp, talk about a little bit about what you learned and what you enjoyed and maybe even what you didn't like so that we can make sure that we're improving our classes every single time. Another thing is to come to us with your computer repairs or refer us to other people. If you or somebody that you know has a computer that needs to be fixed, go ahead and give us a call, send us an email, and we'll go ahead and get we'll get you scheduled to drop off your computer. And recommend us to your friends. If you liked this training or if you like the services that we're offering, tell more people about it, because the more people that know about it, the more that we can do our best to bridge that technology divide. One more shameless plug. Remember that September is Web Literacy Month. And so thank you. Well, September is Web Literacy Month. So this was the second class of our 3-part series, Making Social Media Work for You. Our last class for this month is going to be Figuring It Out, Fact versus Fiction. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about how you can fact check the information that you're finding online, whether that be on social media, on YouTube, on email, the news, whatever, go ahead and join us for that class. It is free. All you have to do is give us a call or send us an email and we can get you signed up. And we'd love for you all to join us. And then remember, next month is going to be National Security Awareness Month. And so next month, we're going to be offering a different series of classes talking all about how to stay safe online, how to avoid phishing scams, and that kind of, those types of classes related to that topic. And so finally, if you have absolutely any questions, we have a free tech helpline Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Think of us as your free tech support. We're happy to help. We're ready to help. If you have questions about how to set up your Wi-Fi, how to connect your printer, you want to learn how to, set up an event on your phone, give us a call at 505-503-INFO. And we'd be more than happy to help you out. If not, usually I'm the one that's on the line in the morning, and then we have our other techs on the line in the afternoon. If we're busy with somebody else, you will be sent to a voicemail. So just leave us a voicemail and we'll give you a call back as soon as possible. But let's say you want to, find out a little more information about the other services that we offer, then you could also give us a call to our main phone line, which is 505-881-TECH, or you can send us an email at info@diversit.org. And with that said, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Does anybody have any more questions before we log off? I'll go ahead and open the chat. And again, you can send us a message, or you can go ahead and give us a call, or unmute yourself, I'm sorry. Javier, did you have any questions? Did you see any of the questions from before?
Some of the questions I did.
What can you tell me?
It'd be like, what are we looking? Because you kind of already answered it within the whole thing.
Oh, that's okay.
So it'd be like, how can we make our online safe, like our social media platforms,
Okay, so how do we stay safe online? That's a really great question. Thank you, Javier. Really, like I said, just make sure that you're being very precautious about what you're choosing to share online, and that you're always double checking your account settings so that only the information that you want to be public is public. And that's something that it's really good to make it a habit to check in every once in a while so that information doesn't get, or so that your account settings don't get read back. But okay. Any other questions in the chat? No? All righty. Well, we did go a little over, but thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Your coming in and logging onto our classes is great. It shows us that people are taking our classes if they want to take them, and we're going to go ahead and move forward with them in the future. We hope to see you all at our September 22nd Figuring It Out, Fact versus Fiction class. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Build community through social media, and please give us a call if you ever have any questions. Thank you. Bye, everyone.